Come here. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing, old dirty dog? Huh? What are you doing, buddy? Huh? See? What are you doing? Oh, don't blow boogers on me. You're dirty. Yeah, come here. Silly thing. So, I'm welding, doing some significant welding with this $100 Harbor Freight flux core welder. Now, before I show you guys this, especially all you guys out there that can weld, I've never used a flux core welder in my life, okay? Welding is probably my top 3 worst things that I can do. I am not a welder. I try. I'm learning every time I do it. But my welds, let's just say, if you would put a baby's diarrhea wrapped up in a diaper really tight and then dropped a 2-ton hammer on that diaper, that's about what my welds look like. I understand. I know they suck. They are horrible. But so far they're holding. Now, if you ever get the chance to ride with me in this Comanche, just don't ride in the passenger seat. Like, ride in the bed. I'm just saying. But it's holding. I'm more pleased with my floor pan job than I am the welds attaching the floor pan to the Comanche. Okay? I'm a metal shaper a lot better than I am a welder. So here we go. Here is the welding train wreck, okay? It's ugly. A lot of splatter. Of course, that's flux core welding for you. My welds are horrible. I could never get it to, every time I went to go weld one of the spots I designated for a spot weld, the floor pan itself would actually melt away. So I started with the original Jeep metal first, and then kind of swoop over and try to grab some of the floor pan, which that worked. So you can see this welder's only got 2 settings, minimum and max, and it's got a wire speed. And I've got my wire speed down to about 2.5. And there's a couple times where I got lucky and my welds were good. Well, I think are good. They hold. So, but as you can see, my floor pan is solid. It's I don't have no looseness in it anywhere. It's holding, and that's all I care about really. Because like I said, it's not a show truck; it's a pick 'em up truck. So when I get some seam sealer this afternoon, I'm just gonna seam seal the shit out of it. These holes over here, I took my little grinder in there and kind of knocked out the edges. I'm not even going to cut that out. I'm just going to seam seal it. And, I'm not a welder, guys. That's one of my least good skills. Very limited experience. But they're holding, and it's kind of all I'm going for. I'm going to get this bracket, this brace here, or fab something up to go along the frame rail. And then weld that in, and I should be good. Because you can see over here that brace that goes along the floor. I need that. My other one was completely rotted out and gone. I might be able to make something work, but I can't make any promises. But anyway, it's in. It's all, it meshes good with the subframe. Up here is good. So yeah, like I said, these sheet metal screws are just before I was welding, so I could get the metal drawn down really good. And the inner rocker, you can see I patched it from the other side. It's like I said, it's not beautiful. It's just a pick 'em up truck. And here's the driver's side. And as you can see, I went through and just kind of cleaned the inside just so I can get a good idea of what I'm looking at. I think I'll be able to save this brace. I don't think the inside rocker's ate up like on the other side, which is good. I think I'm going to be able to save a lot of this I think I can save this brace, even though it's kind of ate out up here. I've been beating on it, and I think what I might do is grind this down, add a piece of metal to it. This right here, the floor is completely rotten underneath that lip, so I'll probably take my cutting wheel and I don't know, I guess maybe cut this about here, get rid of that, add some new metal. I had to cut all the way up here, get rid of that. The only thing that sucks, I've got brake lines and fuel lines. I guess that's a fuel, I'm assuming that's a fuel line right underneath the floor, which makes it difficult. And up here, I'll have to replace probably from about up here someplace. Sorry for the camera work. I'm going to cut about up here, around in here, and bring it down. But the good thing about being right here, I can work on the outside of the fender well. Show what that looks like. I can take this wheel off, and here's my inner fender. That's the foot well. Let's see if you can see it. So yeah, that's what I'm working with. The outer rocker skin, yeah, it might not be too bad. Of course, I get to doing this. Yeah, I mean, not as bad as the other side, but still, it's not wonderful. I'm actually thinking about doing what they do on the four-wheel drives, taking this rocker panel and cutting it right here on this bend, cutting it, taking all the lower rocker panel out, and putting a piece of 2x6 steel tube to make like a rock rail. Granted, I won't never need a rock rail because currently this truck isn't four-wheel drive, but if I ever do make it four-wheel drive, I would like to have a rock rail, because you just don't never know which you might run over, you know. And it would be a lot more durable than just replacing it with a rocker panel. And it would save a bunch of time. I wouldn't have to do a bunch of body work. It was just a piece of square steel tube. It would last forever. Plus, if I could weld it good into the cab of the truck, I think it would actually give more structural durability to the cab. But that's just me thinking. And we all know what happens when I get to doing that. So now the bed side over here, the inner fender feels wonderful. I don't feel any rust up underneath there. It's just the outside skin that's kind of ate up. So that's a win. So I guess the rest of the day, oh yeah, you like my attire? Ain't that awesome? You can see here's one piece of the Jeep that I spray painted. Didn't turn out too bad. It's got a few little dirt specks on it, but that's perfectly acceptable for a rattle can paint job. Yep. And here's what I got done on the driver's side floor. This is about all I'm gonna have to cut out to replace the toe board. I need to go up kind of high on that to fix that, but all in all, it's coming along. My cutting wheels have all been cut up, so I've got to get some more cutting wheels before I can continue getting a little more of the stuff out. I want to share two things with you guys. Some of you all might be, let's say, veteran mechanics, or you might be farmers, or you like to tinker with stuff and you come across rusty parts a lot. Now, this is something that I've used it so much I've just totally forgot about telling you guys. And I just got back from the store, and I was like, I'll make a video and I'll share it with you all. Maybe it can help some of you all. So, if you've got some rusty parts, like I've got right here, okay, this is the floor pan brace for the Comanche. This mounts just like this on the floor pan, okay, and it's a brace. It's a strengthening brace, and this right here welds to the inner rocker, and you can see this is really rusted out. I don't have any more metal of this thickness to maybe fab up another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reuse what I have and get all this rust off of it. And when it comes to this kind of rust, you really can't grind it off. It's just, there's just so much on it. You would end up removing so much material from the metal that it really wouldn't be worth anything. And it's basically really not worth anything right now. I've just got one good side, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in the Jeep because it's better than not having nothing. So, but I want to show you guys a really simple, easy way to clean rust off parts. And all it is vinegar. Just cheap old distilled vinegar. Now this isn't a fast process, but if you don't have a lot of tools and you're just trying to do the best you can with what you got, just run to the dollar store and get you 2 gallons of vinegar. Might cost you $4, and pour that and make sure all your parts are covered up. Now the parts have to stay covered and they have to be submerged in the vinegar. You can't just spray it and walk away because it'll dry on you. And you want to make sure you have enough vinegar where the parts can go for a swim. And it usually takes 2, and this vinegar will keep working for quite a while. So, you know, you don't have to keep changing it out, and if it gets dirty, that's okay, it won't hurt nothing. You can run it through a filter, I guess, if you want to. You can get all the rusty chunks out of it and try to clean it the best you can, but really ain't no need. But I tell you what, this is some of the best rust removal, metal restoring liquid. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let all this stuff go for a nice swim again and come back and get it in the morning, because it should be beautiful. Beautiful. It should be beautiful. Ooh, it burns. Now here's another thing for you guys that have went out and bought that Harbor Freight 110 amp or watt, whatever, volt welder for 100 bucks. Okay, so usually people that buy those are new to welding and they just need something cheap and they want to start off welding. And it comes with this welding mask right here. Okay, now for free, it's not bad. Now keep in mind, this comes from a guy that's not a professional welder. I'm a novice welder at best, but this is what I'm learning, that even though this welding mask, it's got a shade number 11, comes with the welder, just throw it in the garbage. Okay, spend you $40 and either at Harbor Freight get you a good welding mask or a better welding mask, or I got this one at Tractor Supply for $40. It's an auto dimming welding mask. Let's see if you can see it go black. Auto dimming, and you can change your different levels that you need and all that fun stuff. Spend the 40 bucks and get this, because if you're new to welding, MIG welding with this, trying to hold it, and then you're getting a lot of flash coming around the mask, and if you're welding next to a door like I was, because I'm, you know, a noob, the flash will bounce off the door or anything kind of shiny and get behind the mask and hit you in the side of the eye. And it's happened to me several times, and I've had to go inside and just kind of relax for the rest of the day because I could feel my eyes kind of, something wasn't right. And yes, I'll be putting potatoes on my eyes, trying to pull that heat out, because it didn't take much to get your corneas burned. And let me tell you, from a guy that's had eye damage before from having rusty metal in my eye and having to have metal pulled out, that feeling that you've got something in your eye and you can't get it out, it feels like sand, and it's miserable. It is horrible. You just don't want it. So spend the money, 40 bucks, and get you a good, comfortable mask. And I tell you what, MIG welding for a new person, this right here will be a pain in the ass, and you don't really want to do it. It's just not fun, you know. But when you get something like this, and you can free up all your fingers and your hands, and you can hold stuff and do stuff, and you don't have to worry about, you know, am I holding my mask right? Am I getting burned or not? This takes MIG welding from, this sucks, I don't want to do it, such a pain in the butt, to this is really fun and I enjoy it. Okay, spend 40 bucks and enjoy what you're doing. So that's all I gotta say about this. Like I said, I'll have links below to this stuff. So it's been a little bit longer than 24 hours. Let's take a look at these rusted parts. Hold on, clear them out of spot here. Okay, this is probably as good as that's gonna get. As you can see, the rust is basically sitting on the top of the metal in some spots. It's not 100% perfect because I had a lot of rust on it, but for the most part, it's pretty good. It's even gotten a lot of the old paint off. Cool. These parts should turn out really nice. Yeah. There we go. Yep. I'm gonna take them over, put them in a bucket, and wash them off real quick. There we go. Like I said, it's a little bit more than 24 hours. But look at this part, okay? There's still a little bit of rust on it. But compared to the way it was, this is nothing. All that is, there's not a lick of rust on that right there. So, that makes me happy. Got a little bit here, but all this right here I can fix. I can grind it out. I'm just wanting to stop the rust process basically because I'm going to straighten this back out and put it back on the floor to make it a brace again as best as I can do it. But you remember the seat mounts, all the rust that was on them. They look good. There's one that still has a little bit of rust on it, like right there. But all in all, they turned out really good. There's that one's got the rust on it. Not worried about that at all. They'll all sand up nicely and get painted and look good. There's that old rusty bolt. Look at that. It has made that sucker look brand spanking new. Look, it's black. I mean, it looks like it just rolled out of the factory. Really cool. Vinegar, the world's best de-ruster or de-rustifier, whatever you want to call it. So let's show you guys some more updates. So I've been working on piecing the metal back on this bedside. It's like I said, it's nothing special. Right now I'm trying to build this contour back. See this piece right here, and go all the way across over here. And I've ground my welds down. This is pretty stout, so I'm probably going to go back maybe sometime today and try to fill in this crack a little bit more with some weld, grind it down, and then I'm going to start trying to piece this other curve that goes kind of up at an angle with this piece of metal. And after I get that in, I'm going to build this metal to come back down like such, you know. And what I'm trying to do is add as much metal as I can. I'm not trying to make this a perfect all metal contour. I just want it to be 80% metal, good metal, and then I'll go back with my fiber strand, cover it, sand it, contour it, and blend it into the bedside. Here is that one dent that I had in the bottom here. Now, I did go on the backside and beat it out. I got this as flat as I possibly could, and down here as well. Then I took the fiber strand and I coated over this whole piece. That way when this is ready, I can go back and sand it with like an 80 grit, and then find what low spot I have left, add a little bit more to it, build it back up to where it needs to be, and then this whole bedside will be nice and beautiful. Now here is the floor in here. As you can see, the driver's side floor is done. Again, it's not pretty. Seam sealed the crap out of it, and I used that Duplicolor spray and bed liner, you know, to cover it and keep the water from coming back in. So I got that done. A few little more things to do in here, and then I can go ahead and start putting my interior back. On the hood, I had a significant size dent right here, and I've started using the fiber strand, and I already skim coated it once, sand it with 80 grit, This is my second attempt at filling. When this is a little bit drier, which I could probably do it now if I want to take a body filler file, knock some of this off, but I'm gonna let it set up and get good and hard. And there's still a little bit of a divot right here, but once I sand this, I'll go back and do one more coat. That should fix that. As you can see, I've been sanding my guts off. The fenders are good and ready. I've got to fix this little crease. The Comanche emblems are gone. I got rid of all the glue. I filled all these little low spots in this plastic panel. I think it's called a header panel. I can't believe I can't remember, but or front grill area. You know, I've got it filled here, filled it here. So this is ready and done. The next thing I'm probably going to do in the next couple days is keep working on this bedside down here. I think I can go ahead and skim coat this, but I didn't realize there's a big dent right here. So I'll have to try to beat that out and then add some filler to that. I've got this panel here I've still not added in. I'm just kind of saving this to last because this one here won't be a big of a deal because it's just a bigger piece of metal. It's be easier to work with. So I hope. And that's about it for the Comanche. Come to find out, earlier in the video where I was telling you guys I was going to get a 2x6 piece of steel, put it underneath here. Well, apparently the 2x6 pieces of 1/4 inch steel tube are really expensive, but I'm going to spend the money and do it anyway because I think I'll have about $250 just in 2 pieces of steel. I don't understand why steel's so expensive, especially I don't know, I just can't wrap my head around it, but it is what it is, I guess. And this right here, I had to go back and regrind this because I still have to get that brace piece to put down and weld it in and seam seal, all that stuff. And the end of the week, let's see, I will be going back to the big city and meeting my buddy that is supplying me with some of the parts for the Comanche. I should have all my interior parts. I'll probably have some center caps. He's bringing me a few more odd end dash pieces. He might be bringing me a Dana 30 front axle. That way I can go ahead and have that axle here and I can start rebuilding it, actually restoring that axle and making it new again. It's a 4-wheel drive axle. That way when I get ready to make it 4-wheel drive, I'll have it and it'd just be a real quick swap. And it should take maybe 4 hours, and then I'll have a 4-wheel drive axle underneath of it. Won't have a transfer case or nothing like that, but you know, one piece at a time, kind of like what Johnny Cash said. And I think that's it. He might be trying to locate me a factory Jeep Comanche roll bar to go back here, which is really cool because the kicker bars are actually molded around the bed, and you don't have to cut any holes, anything, and they mount right here on the inner fender well of the bed. So that would be cool too. But like I said, all that stuff's not priority. He's also bringing me all the brake stuff, 4 good shocks, and some other stuff I forget. So that is my lengthy update video on the Comanche, guys. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. Anything you purchase through those Amazon links or whatever doesn't increase the price, but it really does help me out. Amazon gives me a little kickback, which is great. Visit my Teespring store, get you a shirt. That will also help out greatly. And I'll see you guys later.